Lot of challenges are emerging due to climate change. It is also truly a global problem in the sense that no country alone can influence the outcome. This climate change can only be handled by an united effort of all the countries, because the effort of no single country will be able to find any solution to this. Fine. It can only be solved if all countries mount a global response, and the issue of climate change will come up for discussion soon at the COP27 to be held in Egypt at this November G20 summit in Indonesia also. Fine. However, this will happen at a time when major developed countries are overwhelmed by other problems, and they are not much worried about the issue of climate change, because they are so worried about their own problem that climate change remain a secondary issue for majority of them. Fine. The ongoing Ukraine crisis, where the world initially thought it will transform to a world war with USA and Russia on both the sides. Okay, or the NATO and Russia on both the sides over the Ukraine issue. A sharp rise in prices in Europe. Europe is going to hike in prices. That is another big issue. Fine. Then the fear that anti-inflationary measures will induce a recessionary trend. Okay, that is a big issue. Okay, before the world. Sustained geopolitical tension between US and China with Taiwan issue. Fine. All these issues became so prominent that the issue of climate change is being pushed to the background. Fine. India's strategy for managing climate change. What India has done, the major target in India's strategy for managing climate change were announced at the COP26 in Glasgow in 2021. They include 5 nectar or Panchamrit action plan set by India. The Indian Prime Minister, to tackle the climate change, has declared about the Panchamrit. Okay, 5 nectar elements of action. Okay, that includes, so what India will take, reach 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel energy capacity by 2030, 50% of the energy requirement from renewable energy by 2030, reduction of total project carbon emission by 1 billion tons from now to 2030, reduction of carbon intensity of the economy by 45% by 2030 and over 2005 level, achieving the target of net zero emission by 2070. So these 5 principles are popularly called as the principle of Panchamrit, okay, which have been given by the Indian Prime Minister at the COP26. Fine. This was given by the Indian Prime Minister at COP26. Fine. reaching the target of taking renewable energy capacity to 450 gigawatt 2030 is a critical supply side element of India's strategy, and many steps are needed to taken to realize it. Because the target what India has said that it want to renewable energy capacity of 450 gigawatt, fine, and that by the year 2030 is a very big target, okay, set upon itself by the Indian leaders. It has been said, so none has set it upon India. So India itself has set this target upon itself. Fine. And once the target is set, definitely India will try to achieve it. Fine. By reducing the fossil fuel use in transport, electric vehicles and electrification of railway, India is on a very big missionary mode to convert to the electric vehicles and electrification of the railway lines. Thereby, a substantial pollution level will be reduced in the country. Right? This is one of the big target taken by India, where it plans to reduce it. Fine. Then by to promote green hydrogen based technology for steel making, fertilizers and petrochemicals. This is the other objective. Okay. So what it implies? Okay. So under this, okay, it implies that to promote green hydrogen based technology for steel making, fertilizer and petrochemicals. Okay. So which India has taken upon itself. India need to also increase the energy efficiency of building through better materials and design and efficient cooling. Okay, because uh, energy efficiency in building, because right now the domestic and the commercial buildings, they also consume huge energy which need to be reduced, and India have the plan even to reduce this energy consumption. Fine. Uh, it requires the coordination across different level of government, center, state, and the cities, because the city government also need to be involved in this process. So this can be better achieved. To achieve this target, if the city government are involved in the process, it will be quite easy to achieve this target in a time bound manner. Fine. It will be quite easy if the central government, the state government, as well as the local authority all are engaged in this in a missionary mode to achieve this target. Fine. This is the major requirement right now. Okay, which India has taken upon itself. So, for its achievement, it needs a proper follow up by the country. Okay, so this can be achieved. Otherwise, such a big target, achieving such a big target will be really a Herculean task. Okay, Step need to be taken to achieve the net zero target by 2070, as it is not possible to spell out all the policy interventions expected over the decade till 2070. Therefore, a medium-term program of 10 years can be framed based on sector-specific, which will help in achieving the long-term targets effectively. Fine. So, this is the requirement. It needs to achieve the long-term target. So, the long-term target can not be monitored that easily. So that is why. So right now, the issue is regarding so how to fix a short-term target. Okay, and this short-term target will be easy to monitor, and it will be quite convenient to implement the program in a breakup manner, as well as to see that the targets are being fulfilled or not. If it is being properly fulfilled, then fine. If not fulfilled, then take the remedial measures. So how to fulfill it in a time bound manner. If we fix certain targets, so we can monitor it, and this monitoring will be definitely much helpful. Fine. So that is what is the major target right now. So that what is being in focus is so how to target that, how to fix the short term targets, and the short term targets can result in proper monitoring and implementation, and this will definitely facilitate that further expansion to that in a long term way. Fine. Okay, all capacity expansion in electricity generation could be from other sources. The peak date should consider the commissioning of coal power plants currently being built and the possible phasing down of inefficient ones. Okay, studies show that at least 50 gigawatt. Okay, 50 gigawatt. Uh, okay, of coal capacity will be phased out in the near future. So that is the because the coal power is the most polluting source, so government has a plan to phase out the coal-based power plants in future and supplement it by okay the renewable energy and environmentally sustainable energy generation, which will fulfill our target of net zero emission capability, which we have taken upon ourselves by 2070, and to fix a short-term target that this can be monitored, because short-term monitoring will result in a proper assessment at a short duration, which will facilitate that it will be able to achieve it. Fine. Setting a date for peak connectivity economic-wide CO2 emission. CO2 emission are projected to remain the largest contributor to global greenhouse gas emission, driven by okay economic growth based on fossil fuel from industry and transportation. So majority of the greenhouse gases are emitted by the industry and the transportation sector. Fine. And these two are more dependent on fossil fuel, so industry on coal and the transportation system on the petroleum. So these two being the most polluting source, so government plan to phase them out. Okay, in due course of time with better technology which are environmentally compatible. And if this is fulfilled, then India will be able to achieve its own net zero emission standard what it has taken upon itself. Fine, it will be easy in that case. So they will be able to, India will be able to achieve it. That is the big target taken upon itself by India, and the proper implementation is to be done. So this can be properly implemented and the target date will be able to be fulfilled. Fine. So a date of CO2 emission peak need to be set off in better management of climate policy. Then mobilize financing from multilateral development banks to help the restructure the DISCOM. The power distributor companies are popularly known as the DISCOM, and they are incurring heavy losses. The DISCOMs are incurring heavy losses due to the T&D losses and other issues. So the target here is, so how to reduce the loss incurred by the DISCOM, and DISCOM to overcome the losses to the DISCOM. So right now, so the government is targeting that privatizing the distributing companies, enforcing them, okay, the proper enforcement, which will lead to a proper balance in the system, and so they will be able to be financially viable, okay, and sustainable in future program. Then, therefore, mobilizing finance from multilateral development banks like the World Bank, like the IMF, like the ADB, okay, that you need, okay. The mobilizing finance from the multilateral development banks would offer a degree of independence in setting terms that might, okay, setting terms but reassure state which could be encouraged to set up target for privatizing parts of the distribution system. Like in Odisha, we have a privatized the power distribution through the DISCOM privatization. So Odisha has done it. Okay, and other states around the country, if they follow this model, so it will be easier, okay, quite easier so to achieve these targets, because these will be in the long term much beneficial for everyone and will be able to achieve the target within the specified time. Fine. Okay. So renewable energy is an important source of power and increase its share in total electricity supply will require innovation in electricity generation, transmission, regulation and grid management practices. So what is this renewable energy? So in electricity generation, transmission, regulation and grid management practices. Central regulator will have to collaborate closely, right? They'll be collaborating closely, okay, in this domain. So regulatory changes aimed at improving grid flexibility should be a top priority in the first 10 years. They would lay the basis of continuing expansion of the renewable energy sector. Fine. So growth of green hydrogen production would be supported by setting offtake targets for major industry that can shift to it in subsequent period. Fine. So that means, so our plan of net zero mission by 2070 should follow this procedure for fulfilling or reaching at this particular target that we have set upon ourselves. Fine. Okay, so following polluter pay principle, so there is a principle right now we discuss about which is known as the polluters pay. Those who pollute, let them pay. Polluters pay principle. Any strategy for decarbonization would be helped by the introduction of carbon tax. Cap on trade system are a substitute for carbon taxation. It will send the right price signal to switch to renewable and will also raise revenue. India should ensure progress towards our Paris target of afforestation and perhaps even plan to ratchet it up. Investment in afforestation helps not only in mitigating climate change by sequestering carbons, it also helps in adoption of supporting water conservation. Fine. So India at the Paris Climate Conference of 2015, so India has declared that it will reduce its CO2 emission by 33 to 35%. Okay, this right now we are following through plantation, okay, or afforestation and reducing the use of fossil fuel, okay, in our industry and economy. This is being targeted right now by India to fulfill our commitment or our commitment that we have done at the Paris Climate Agreement. Okay, the commitment that India has done in the Paris Climate Agreement, so it is upon itself. So we have declared it on our own. Nobody compelled us for this. As we declared this on our own, so it became our duty to fulfill it because it is our own declaration. So when it is our own declaration, so we must fulfill it to maintain that yes, our words matters and it's not a fake promise that India has made to the global community. Rather, what India has promised, okay, India will definitely try to achieve it. That is what, so each a major target that we have set and definitely we are in a process of achieving it. Fine. Then, therefore, a 10-year plan along these lines would help increase public consciousness and generate a public debate on aspects of strategy that may seem contentious. It would show Indian leadership too. How to finance the transition to a carbon neutral economy is a major unresolved problem facing the global community. Climate change negotiations under the UNFCCC United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change were conducted on the understanding that developing countries, okay, so developing countries will get financial assistance from the advanced countries to help make the transition. But this promise is not being fully kept by the developed country who have promised this, okay, to fund the climate mitigation programs of the developing countries, okay, and the poorest countries, because the recent reports say that since 1850 India's contribution to carbon emission is only 3%, and whereas that of China is of 11%, and USA and the European Union combinedly they are responsible up to 55% of the carbon emission that has been done since 1850, the day industrialization or the year in which industrialization has started. Fine. With industrialization, this is what they aims to change it in course of time. Fine. କାଲିଠୁ ଆଜି ଭିତରେ 3 ଥର ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇସାରିଲାଣି। ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ହଲ୍ 3 ଥର ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇସାରିଲାଣି। ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ ଜାଗା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ 3 ଥର ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇସାରିଲାଣି। କାଲି ପାଇଁ ଆଉଥରେ ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇଯିବ। ଆଜି ପରି ନାଇଁ ବୁଝିଲ ଆମ ମାନଙ୍କର କନ୍ଭିନ୍ସ ଦେଖିକି ଆମେ ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରୁ। ଏଇଠି କଣ ସେଠି ଲେଖବ ସେଠି ଲେଖବ ବୁଝିଲା। ଆମେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ ଯେ ୟାର ଇମ୍ପାକ୍ଟ କଣ ହଉଛି ହେଲା। ପିଲା ବର୍ଷରେ କୋର୍ଟକୁ ବର୍ଷରେ ପିଲା ପାସେଜ କରା ଦରକାର। ପିଲା ବର୍ଷ କରା ଦରକାର। ପିଲା ରହିଲେ କଣ ଆମର ଏଇଟା ଏଇଟା ସେଠି ଦରକାର ଦରକାର। ଯେତେବେଳେ କଥା ହେଲା ଆମେ ଯୋଉ କହିଲୁ ବହୁ ଆଡ କରି ରଖୁଛୁ ୟା ସେଇଟା କଣ ହେଲା। ହଁ the Glasgow Pact recognized the failure on its count and urged the so. How the financial transition to a carbon neutral economy is a major unresolved problem facing the global community. So, what is this? A carbon neutral economy is a major unresolved problem facing the global community. Climate change negotiations under UNFCCC are conducted on the understanding that developing country will get financial assistance from advanced country to help make the transition. In 2015 Paris Climate Agreement promised assistance of 100 billion per year by 2020 of the Green Climate Fund. So at the Paris Climate Agreement, the Green Climate Fund is established where the developed country will contribute $100 billion per annum, which will be spent for the climate mitigation projects in the underdeveloped and developing countries, but the contribution by the developed countries are not that forthcoming. Fine. The Glasgow Pact recognized the failure on this count and urged that the promised amount be delivered at the earliest and continue up to 2025 and increase substantially thereafter. Financing is a major issue because decarbonization commitment made at COP26 involve massive investment in the energy and related sectors. Estimates of the amount needed above the business as usual projection of investment for developing countries excluding China. Okay, estimate of the amount needed above the business as usual projection of investment for developing countries excluding China comes close to 4% of the GDP and almost $1 trillion per year by 2025. Developing countries will have to accept that a large portion of this amount, say 45%, would have to be mobilized domestically. This should reduce the international contribution to 550 billion. Since this is meant to be combined combination of public and private flow, could break it up to 220 billion public flow and 330 billion private flow. Other multilateral platforms such as G7, G20, World Bank can utilize for the financial viability of climate resilient projects. Fine. Then coming to the conclusion, therefore, by following the targeted medium-term policy while maintaining collaborative effort, the help of sustainable financing and technology would help in achieving target of net zero by 2070, even before the time frame. So, India is on the right path and very proactive in achieving the net zero emission target set by itself. And India has taken starting from the EV to changing over to renewable energy. India is on the right path for fulfilling its promise that it has made and the commitment it has taken upon itself. Okay. Then India slips two places in SDA as COVID-19 reverse global gains. Indian rank on the Human Development Index has slipped to from 130 in 2020 to 132 in 2021, in line with the global fall in SDI score. Okay, as reported. Okay, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, so that Human Development Report 21-22 released recently. According to the report released by the United Nations Development Program, India's SDI value stood at 0.9 633 during 2021, which was lower than the world average of 7.0.732. Okay. In 2020, India too recorded a decline in its SDI value to 0.642 in comparison to the pre-COVID level of 0.645. That means over the years, so from 130 to 132, it is the present rank of India and the SDI index. Okay. India ranked 132 out of 191 countries and territories on the 21-22 Human Development Index published by UNDP. Who publishes this? So this Human Development Index is published by UNDP, United Nations Development Program. Fine. 90% of the countries have registered a reduction in their Human Development Index value in 2020 or 2021, reversing much of the progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. A large contributor to the Human Development Index recent decline is a global drop in life expectancy down to 72.8 years in 2019 from 71.4 years in 2021. The last 2 years have had a devastating impact on billions of people worldwide, where crises like COVID-19 and the war in Ukraine hit back to back and interacted with sweeping social and economic shift and dangerous planetary changes. Fine. SDI is a composite index. Okay. So that measures average achievement in human development, taking into account four indicators: life expectancy at birth. Okay. Sustainable SDG goal 3, expected year of schooling SDG 4.3, means year of schooling SDG 4.4, gross national income GNI per capita. Okay. It is not GDP per capita but gross national income per capita. Fine. In 2021, India's life expectancy at birth was recorded at 67.2 years. Expected years of schooling at 11.9 years, means years of schooling at 6.7 years, and gross national income per capita at 6,590 dollar. On all these four parameters, India was behind the world average in 2021. Life expectancy at 71.4 years, expected years of schooling at 12.8 years, mean years of schooling at 8.6 years, and gross national income per capita at $16,752. Fine. That was the target set. Fine. Unlike global trends, in India's case, a drop in SDI from 6.445 in 2019 to 0.633 in 2021 can be attributed to falling life expectancy 69.7 to 67.2 years. India's expected year of schooling stand at 11.9 years, and the mean year of cooling are at 6.7 years. The GNI per capita level is 6.59 6,590. India has also been ranked as 122nd on the Gender Inequality Index. Fine. This is what. Fine. Then comes the number. Next item is the next topic is food basket for patients, job training for kin in B2 TB Mukt Bharat. So government of India has taken a big target of tuberculosis. India eliminating tuberculosis at TB Mukt Bharat Abhijan that will launch by India. Fine. Working towards the goal of eliminating tuberculosis by 2025, the Union Health Ministry launching the Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt Bharat Abhijan recently, which will include community support for patients, nutritional and additional diagnostic support for them, and vocational training for their families. Right? Uh, okay. Uh, Niska Mitra, while the initiative is already underway in some states like Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, President Draupadi Murmu formally launched it recently. Under the scheme, individual, NGO, and corporate can adopt TB patients by committing support for 1 to 3 years. To join the initiative, they will have to register on the site http communitysupport.nixca.in, which has an anonymous list of TB patients categories according to the primary health centers, block, district, and states. The sponsor can select the number of patients as per their capacity. A mail will be sent from the central TB division to the sponsor detail of their district's TB officers. While the TB officer will be notified about the sponsor, the detail of the patient will be provided to the sponsors by the office on condition that they maintain anonymity. The Health Ministry, in collaboration with ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, the National Institute of Nutrition, has developed two options for monthly food basket. The vegetarian food basket for adult has to be to contain 3 kg cereals or millets, 1.5 kg pulses, 250 gram of vegetable cooking oil, and 1 kg milk powder, or 6 liter of milk and 1 kg groundnut. The non-vegetarian option will have an additional 30 egg in a month. For children, the basket has to contain 2 kg cereals or millets, 10 kg pulses, 150 gram vegetable cooking oil, and 750 gram milk powder, 3.5 liters of milk, and 7 kg groundnuts, or 0.7 kg groundnuts. The sponsor also asked to encourage patients to consume fresh vegetables, leaves, and fruits. Okay, so monthly food basket have been clearly mentioned over here. So it is 3 kg and 2 kg, pulses 1.5 kg and 1 kg, vegetables cooking oil 250 grams or 50 grams, milk powder 1 kg, 6 meats are 1 kg, 750 grams, so 3.5 liters or 0.7 kg. Then for the egg option, 30 numbers and 30 numbers for the non-vegetarian patients. Right. Each nutrition basket is likely to cost around 1000 rupees. The food basket will be modified by the district officials as per the locally accepted food. A nutrition is key factor when it comes to TB. Most of the people have the TB bacteria in their body, but it gets activated if nutrition is poor and the immune system is impaired. So TB normally affects the persons with lesser nutrition or immunity. That is what, because the bacteria is in everyone's body, and when the body's immunity is weak, so the chances of its spread, so or its aggravation get multiplied. That is what. So this program aims to check it, fine, and provide the minimum nutrition will be able to achieve this, and the target taken by the government of TB Mukt Bharat Abhijan, which with the government targeting that to eliminate TB from India by the year 2025. The next division, the dancing drums and cultural display, Kartavya Path inauguration. Okay, the Rajpath of India had been renamed as Kartavya Path. Renamed as what? The Prime Minister inauguration of Delhi Central Vista Avenue, when a revamped Rajpath was inaugurated as Kartavya Path, a range of cultural events marking the occasion, a mix of tribal dance, classical music, and celebratory art forms in which 500 dancers from across the country have been grouped in. Here is a look at the significance of the performance made on that day. Okay, Panchabhadyam. The Prime Minister arrival at the canopy of this unveiling of the statue of Netaji. So a big statue of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was unveiled at the Kartavya Path. They was accompanied by traditional Manipuri Sankham, Sankham Bhadyam, and Kerala's traditional Chanda, a long drum instrument, and Panchabhadyam. Kerala's Panchabhadyam is a temple orchestra consisting of 5 types of instruments. Okay, 5 types of. Okay, Kerala's Panchabhadyam is a temple orchestra consisting of 5 types of instruments, namely Kombu, okay, Edaka drum, Kimila drum, Ilatham, an instrument similar to crambal, and Mandalam drum. Panchabhadyam is played during temple festivals and is believed to have originated in today's vernacular. Usually, one performer stands in the center while the performance is underway. Fine. This is one for display on the day of inauguration. Moving next, in terms of sound, it has a pyramid-like rhythm structure with a constantly increasing tempo, coupled with a proportion decrease in the number of beats in cycle. Around 30 artists will perform tribal folk art forms such as Sambalpuri, Panthi, Kalbelia, Targam and Domi First, with live music by Nasik, Dhol, Pathik, Tasa, and the drums. Each of these has a unique significance and tradition. Then Sambalpuri, Western Odisha Sambalpur district is known for its cultural offering, including variety of tribal dances that relate to deity worship. Among Sambalpuri dance is the Dalkhai dance involving the Binjal, Shaura, and the Mrida types. Okay, the Mrida types performed in the Dasara. The Kishabadi dance in the Gand and the Huya community that is performed with 2 feet long sticks and the Humo and the Bauli dance. Fine. Okay. The Panthi dance is in Chhattisgarh and includes creative formations in which a few dance stands atop the shoulder of another row of dancers wearing white dhoti. These men play instruments as well as often dance to honor Guru Ghasidas, an 18th century saint of Chhattisgarh who preached message of equality. Fine. Then Dhol Tasa and Pathak. Dhol and Tasa drums from Maharashtra and Pathas are the perform who beat the drums who practice around the year for high energy performance during the 10 days of the revelry witnessed at the times of Ganesh Chaturthi. Then Kalvelia, traditionally tribal community of the snake charmers, while performing dance, Rajasthan's Kalvelia were heavily embroidered black dress and often danced to jubilant songs. In 2010, their song and dance are included in the list of UNESCO intangible cultural heritage form. Okay. Then the Karagam and Dummy Horse. Karagam is a dance form in Tamil Nadu that is performed while balancing a pot of water on the head. Traditionally, these dance are performed by the villagers in praise of the rain god Mari, Mari Amma and river gods Gangi Amman. And the Dummy Horse dance is from the same state and has a space carved into the horse door so that it can be put onto the performer. Fine. Then coming to the question, the Nobel Prize in Physics for 2013 was jointly awarded to Akashi Amano and Nakamura for the invention of blue LED in 1990. How does this invention impacted the everyday life of the human beings? LED are basically semiconductors that have been built so that they'll emit light when they are activated. White light, which is generally used, is made by combination of red, green, and blue lights. Scientists said that while it was easier to make red and green LED, making the blue LED was an ultimate challenge. The Nobel Prize in Physics 2014 was awarded jointly to Isamu Akashi and Hiroshi Amano and Suji Nakamura for the invention of efficient blue light emitting diodes, which has enabled bright and energy saving white light sources. Impact of this invention on our daily life. A modern white LED light bulbs convert more than 50% of the electricity it uses into light. This is opposed to 4% conservation rate of the incandescent bulbs, increasing access to electricity. White LED efficiency makes them appealing for getting lighting to the folk living in regions without electricity supply. A solar installation can charge LED lamps to last a long time, so that makes the light available to them. Smart energy efficient homes, in addition to generating light, LED can incorporate sensors that detect when people are in room and switch off the lights and no one is there. Requirement for any smart home enables other technological advancement in the electronic industry. LED provides backlighting for the LED crystal LCD display in many smartphones, laptops, and televisions. The LED are more energy efficient than the fluorescent light that are sometimes used for backlighting and allow for very thin display. Increase ability to store data. Blu-ray players, the successor of DVD players, use blue LED lasers to read data of a digital optical disc. When these systems switch from the using an infrared laser so to a blue LED laser, it becomes possible to store 5 to 10 times as much data. Research are exploring other applications of LED as well as like a transmitting data from the internet and water purification. These advancements show that LED will continue to impact everyday life of women for years to come until the next higher version of LED is not invented by scientists. So LED which are transform life and lighting in our life, so will be viable till the its innovated version is discovered. Fine. Then coming to the MCQs of the day. Fine. The SDI is composed of index of health, education, and standard of living. Okay. The standard of living is measured by GDP per capita, not the GNP per capita, not GDP per capita. So it is measured by not GDP but GNP per capita. GNP. So only one is right. So the following report is not equal to UNDP. So UNDP published one development index, gender integrity index, and multiple vote index. The three are published. The world development report is not published by the UNDP, it is by the World Bank. Then coming to question number 3, the following statement with respect to tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is caused by the bacteria, mycobacterium tuberculosis that most often affect the lungs. Right, correct. People with TB bacteria have a very high risk of falling ill with TB. So bacteria is there in everybody, but whose immunity is weaker, it affects them. So 2 is incorrect. Multi-drug resistance TB, MDR-TB, is the TB that does not respond to at least ionized and rifampicin, the most two powerful anti-drug TB, because it is multi-drug resistant person, so it is not suppressed by the common drugs. Okay. Nixia is a digital platform often mentioned in news related to eliminating tuberculosis. But the following page, Panchabhadyam. So this is an example to compare. Okay, Panchabhadyam is a musical instrument. Okay, and Panchabhadyam is belong to the state of Kerala, not Tamil Nadu. This belong to the state of Kerala, not Tamil Nadu. Dalkha is Odisha, Banthi is from Chhattisgarh, Kalbelia is from Rajasthan, and Karagam is from Tamil Nadu. This is from Tamil Nadu. Fine. So three pairs are correct. Then coming to question number 6, with reference to Glasgow Climate Pact, consider the following statement. It is an agreement of all countries that were party to the Paris Agreement on 2015 and how to tackle forward the agenda set in the Paris Agreement. Correct? For the first time, Glasgow Pact mentioned coal by name and as per its phase down. So both are correct. Right? 10% reservation to economically weaker section was permitted through which Indian amendment it was by the 300 103 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act 2019. 103 Constitutional Amendment Act 2019. World PT Day. Okay, so it is on the 8th of September. Then recently it has been observed that regions of invasive and non-invasive south red ear slider tortoise would lead to extinction of the native species of their own kind in Indian water. To refer to this, consider the following statement. In India, keeping indigenous turtle as pet is prohibited under the Wildlife Protection Act, but the foreign breeds are not restricted; they are allowed. Like olive little turtle, the red-eared slider are native to Southeast Asia, USA, and Mexico, but have found their way across the globe. No, only to this side. So only one is right. These are following the first state to identify and decrease person through National Automated Fingerprint Identification System. It is Madhya Pradesh. And first Indian to win the Diamond League Trophy is Neeraj Chopra in javelin. And Neeraj Chopra was the golden boy in Indian Olympic, that Olympic game. It cleans gold medal for India. For diesel cars, BS6 not aims at reducing the pollution, which of the following it is all of these: hydrocarbon, NOx, PM, particulate matter, everything. Okay. Switzer Hills and Larsen Hills often mentioned news are related to Antarctica. Okay, snow laden, glaciated hills. The gross goods and service tax collection has risen by 28% year to year since the July 2017 rollout of the indirect tax regime. Which are the following factors that contributed to rise in the GST collection? High inflation rate, vibrancy in the consumption patterns triggered by the economic recovery, greater enforcement action against anti-evasion activity. So all these are responsible. Number 15, the term Chandler ODB, frequently seen nation, is the Earth rotation around its axis. Then with reference to Nagar Bana scheme, so Nagar Bana scheme is for upgrading the forest in the urban areas. It learns to develop 200 urban forests across the country from 2020 to 2025. It is completely brownfield, no, it's a greenfield and brownfield both. Thus, it is a greenfield project because it developed 200 urban forest. Okay, and both green and brown field. And the Kampa fund. So 1 and 3, 2 is incorrect. Then coming to 17, fiscal inclusion index is by RBI. Then recently India received highest recipient of aid for trade from the developed country, and the initial launch by which by WTO, World Trade Organization. According to report of the Internet and Mobile Association of India, which state at the highest penetration of internet is Goa, the highest internet penetration. And 2022 Earth has overshoot day lands on which of the following date? It will be on 20th July. This year we complete the discussion today, and keep on watching regularly to update yourself on the daily development and enrich yourself by this